So the Supreme Court of Nigeria has sentenced one Mr. Jackson to death by hanging. Now, this matter started all the way back to 2014 in Yola, Adamawa State, and then it came up to the Supreme Court, and the judgment of the Supreme Court just recently came out. Now, let me give you the full gist of what actually happened and which has led to this judgment by the Supreme Court. This matter happened between Mr. Jackson and the Fulani herdsman. Mr. Jackson actually murdered the Fulani herdsman, but the story was that this Fulani herdsman attacked Mr. Jackson in his farm with a knife, and in an act of self-defense, this Mr. Jackson overpowered the Fulani herdsman and then used that same knife to stab him to death. And then this matter was taken to court in the High Court of Yola, Adamawa State, and then the court found him guilty and sentenced him to death. Now, this matter came to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court upheld the judgment of the High Court. This means that the Supreme Court still maintained that Mr. Jackson should be sentenced to death by hanging for the murder of this Fulani herdsman. And ever since this judgment came to public information, like, it has ignited a lot of reactions, negative reactions against about the corruption of the judiciary, that the judiciary is corrupt, and all of those like typical Nigerian kind of comments in this kind of situation. Some of the comments were like that Mr. Jackson was only trying to defend himself, that this is an act of self-defense, that what if he had not defended himself and then the Fulani herdsman ended up killing him, that what would have happened? Like, those kind of objections and opinions. But guys, like, what do you think about this matter? Do you think that the Supreme Court was actually right in sentencing this young man to death by hanging in an act of self-defense? So I just want to give an objective opinion to this before I hear yours. Now, what I want to say is that before you can successfully show or prove self-defense in courts, you must show that the force that you took in trying to defend yourself is proportional to the force that the attacker used to attack you. For example, this Fulani herdsman might have brought out the knife in trying to threaten this Mr. Jackson. Now, we don't know the story that led to their fight and then to the murder of this Fulani herdsman. But let's say that the Fulani herdsman brought out the knife and then tried to threaten Mr. Jackson, and then they engaged in a fight, and the Fulani herdsman teared some cuts in the leg of this Mr. Jackson, and finally Mr. Jackson was able to overpower the Fulani herdsman. It is not a proportional force that Mr. Jackson will take that same knife and stab the Fulani herdsman on his chest, or on his head, or on his belly. And so the force that Mr. Jackson used in trying to defend himself was higher than the force that the Fulani herdsman used to attack him. And this might be what the prosecution might have proved in court, which would have led to the court delivering the judgment